and bless the bear. Bring a full bottle of water. My name is-
You adjusted, I just.
Make sure it works. Is it? Constant.
Mine actually died about 2 years ago from blue stone. And actually, all these years, I know I'm way too high. So it was.
Welcome, everyone, to the June 22nd, 2026 Town Board meeting. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Good to see you. As has been customary, and in an effort to comply with the new ADA rules and regulations, when I say Joe, I am referring to Deputy Supervisor Joe McCann. When I say Ben, I am referring to Council Member Ben Garvey. When I say Jess, I am referring to Council Member Jessica Armburst. When I say Ray, I am referring to Council Member Raymond Razzie. First on the agenda is a public hearing for a special use permit for 1196 Big Tree Road to operate a campground. I will open this public hearing at 6:31. If anyone would like to address the board, please step up to the mic, give us your name and address, and do so.
Thank you. My name is Peter Sorgi. My work address is 574 Main Street, East Aurora. I'm the project attorney.
My name is Rachel Krajewski. I'm at 95 Cook Road, and I am the president of Carner Development Group, the owner of this project.
Hi, I'm Dan Garvey. I live at 875 Lawrence Avenue, and I work for Carner Development.
And I'm sorry, the two of you would mind introducing yourselves? Table wasn't big enough, so.
Danielle Johnson, Crafted Concepts Architecture. I'm the project architect.
Dan LaPietra, Carmina Wood Design. I'm the project engineer.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll try to just be very brief. I know that a number of you have reviewed this project before in different iterations. So we'll give an overview, and if you have any questions, we'd be happy to ask them. The visuals are over there. If you need them moved for us, please let us know. But I think you're all familiar with the property, but just for everyone in the audience, 1196 Big Tree Road is about 83 acres. It is known as the Twin Elm Estate. 69 of those acres in the rear are in conservation easement, and there are 14 acres in the front which are not in the conservation easement. The conservation easement basically preserves the rear 69 acres, make sure they're not built upon. It can still be utilized for our campground, for walking and that type of thing, passive use. But that is part of the project. The property, as you can see in the aerial there, is fairly large. It fronts on Big Tree Road as well as the 400. Sorry, thank you, Dan. So a pretty substantial sized property, obviously. As the supervisor said, we are here applying for a campground. Campground requires a special use permit as well as site plan approval. And for those in the audience, and I guess for the board as well, I think it's important to understand, there's various types of land use approvals. We have, starting with the hardest to get, if you will, you have a rezoning. You're asking for a change of law. There's a use variance. You're asking to use something other than what the law prescribes. Area variances means you're asking for something bigger than what is allowed. The special use permit kind of falls in the next category. It is not as difficult or challenging for those. The case law that I submitted to you explains that in order to deny a special use permit, it has to be a substantially deficient, your findings. And that is because it is in your zoning code. Your zoning code basically says this is an allowed use, but we want you to make sure that there's certain criteria that you follow, that you hit. And if we hit the criteria, then we should be entitled to this special use permit. But what I'd like to explain to people in the audience, whether they're for or against, is that this board does not have unfettered discretion. You cannot just simply say, I like this project, I approve it, I don't like it. You could love the project, but if it doesn't meet the criteria, your job is to deny it. The opposite is true also. You could hate the project, but if it meets the criteria, your job is to approve the project. So we are looking at 7 sleeping quarters in our main house. If you guys can kind of.
That's fine.
And there's 2 sleeping quarters in another house. And then in the rear of the property, we have 7 treehouse facilities and 7 cottages. I'm sorry, 2 tree houses. So a total of about 18 sleeping quarters on the whole site. The tree houses and the cabins are going to be constructed, obviously. Those are seasonal. There's also 2 accessory uses. There is a wellness center and there is what we're calling our lodge. And that's an important part of this. We started off this project with a 2,400 square foot enclosed building that could probably fit 170, 180 people. We have shrunk that in half, or actually more than half, and now it is an open air facility. There is concerns that we would have large gatherings of 200 people and more. This seats comfortably about 60 or 70 people, and that's all. Kind of the size of a good-sized family reunion. So we did make that change since we initially applied to address that concern. It's also important to note that Karner Development is in this business. They have campgrounds, 3 separate campgrounds throughout the Finger Lakes. So if you can explain those campgrounds and where they are, and maybe explain what your vision for the property is.
So we currently run.
Speak close. Thank you.
We currently own and operate FLX retreats and tree houses. And at our Seneca Lake property, we have 4 tree houses and a treehouse lodge. At our Canisius Cottages property, we have 4 cottages that are all together with just a gathering space outside. And then we also have a 300-acre classic campground that actually includes hobbit houses, bunk houses, RVs, and tents. So we are familiar with camping regulations. These fall into campground, but can be broken down into glampground, rustic camping, and classic campgrounds.
This whole process for us started on this in October. We submitted, October 2025, we looked at the zoning code and we submitted 3 options to the planning board. The first was to put 5 duplexes on the site, and we were just looking at what was allowed by the zoning code because we are constrained by the zoning. The first was 5 duplexes. The second one was a more traditional campground. I'm sure there's a better word for that, but with RVs and more tent sites. And this was the third option. We went in front of your planning board in November just to sort of get a pre-application concept plan review. What do you think? Which one would you prefer? And the preference was this way, towards this project here. We then worked on all the engineering, submitted all the required engineered drawings, architectural drawings. The stormwater pollution prevention plan has been submitted as well. And then finally, we went in front of the planning board 2 different times. The last time they voted 6-0 to recommend approval of this project to you. So we can answer any questions you may have about the project, if you want to.
Peter, we don't ask questions, nor do we typically answer questions. And I would ask if it's a simple question and you have the answer for it, that's fine. But this is not going to be a back and forth and you saying this and we're saying that. This is an opportunity for everyone to address the board.
My expectation is whatever I say, you're going to agree with.
You can expect it. You can expect it.
So our statement from Karner Development Group is that we are excited to provide you with a plan and a vision for this historic property. Our goal is to provide a wellness retreat style glampground that combines wellness practices with nature and relaxation. SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Organization, has provided approval for the project's first step and stated that this is a feasible and viable option to restore the property. We have spent a year working on this plan and have provided a fully compliant to code and zoning special use permit application. We have held our own public meetings, mailed meeting information to all neighbors within a mile to provide anyone with information who wished or an opportunity to speak with our team. Dan Garvey, our Director of Hospitality, has held over 50 tours of the property for community members and neighbors to allow an inside look at our plans. We've worked with Cardea Health to allow them the opportunity to continue operating in the same manner that they have for 10 years as a locally owned and operated business. This will allow them to continue and not have to leave. We asked community members and neighbors to show up tonight and support, not necessarily to speak, because I know that there can be a lot, but with a show of hands, I'd just like anybody who showed up today to support us to raise your hands. I request that you approve this plan. Thank you.
And I just want to just to finish up is, this, again, we're looking at this in terms of a place to come to relax, to unwind, that type of thing. At some of the earlier meetings, we were, accused of kind of those being wild parties and all this other stuff. That is not what we're looking to do here. If you understand what this property is, how beautiful the property is, the amount of money that we're gonna have to put in to preserve the property properly, which is part of this, it's really made for that. So that's it.
Okay?
Can we just stay in case we have to?
No, because other people are going to come up and...
Thank you.
I thought you were gonna agree with me.
He does.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the board?
Somebody in the middle there.
I do.
Please step up to the mic, give us your name and address,
Okay. I got something for you folks first.
give us your thoughts.
Okay? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yep.
It's hard to tell. Joe Quinn, 1224 East Main Street, East Aurora, the direct neighbor of this proposed project. The first
We can
thing...
hear you just fine, Joe, you don't have to...
Okay, sorry. I'm a little half-deaf, too. But the first thing I want to address to you is I went around to the neighbors, myself and the direct neighbor that lives on the other side of this property, Dave Sosha. He used to own this whole property. Okay, he kept 10 acres, which directly abuts to this property. He kept 10 acres for the purpose of down the road building a house for his family so he could retire up here. He's from Buffalo. He lives in California. He comes back and forth. He owned that property for about 14 years. He purposely kept that property. Okay? He's got 10 acres. I only have like an acre and a half. This is the only house I have. My property is probably about 35 feet from where they want to propose this. Okay? So the direct impact is going to be on me and my neighbors. I went around with a petition to all the people that live close, East Main Street, Cook Road, Lapham Road, Ryder Road. I want to submit this to you. I got 5 copies of each, including a letter from Dave with his purpose for this property, this property that he retained. Okay, so also I was reviewing they submitted a traffic report about the road out there is off the hook. It's crazy. There's been tons of accidents. Some of my neighbors are here. They can attest to that. I've seen people in the ditches. East Aurora Police Department, last year, there was a guy almost killed out there on a bicycle. This is like 4 of the accidents that I have recorded. I know there was another severe one last year towards the end of fall. Their traffic report states nothing of this, so I question that also. The further situation that we encountered is the Cardea Health that's operating out of there right now. When they got approved to operate out of there, the woman that was running that was supposed to be living there. That was the original intent. The original intent was it was supposed to be out of the house. You know how things transpire. She moved her whole operation into the barn, okay, and she was operating there. Be honest with you, never had a problem with them because it was operating during the daytime, all right? Never had a problem. So she in turn sold this to this developer. Here's how this developer operates. Everything is cash, everything is money. So Cardea Health rents from them. Mr. Sorgi represented Cardea Health when they got the approval to be in there with the agreement that she was going to live there, which she no longer lives there, okay? So that's one commercial business. She subleases, or it's part of her operation, to this yoga stuff that goes on the weekends and all that. They got a 20-car parking lot back there. Most of the time it's full, okay? So now, in turn, they want to present to you that this is a small campground and it's a little project, okay? Math doesn't lie. They paid $2 million for this place. They're going to probably put a ton more into it. So the return, as they originally started with, is a wedding venue. That's where they want. That's what they want. Why do you think she hired Mr. Garvey, professional banquet manager? Okay? Mr. Sorgi never mentioned, okay, you got a facility there, okay, it's a campground, but she also said there's going to be events there. Okay, is there going to be a restaurant? Is there going to be a bar? I'm sure people go to a party, they want a bar. They never mentioned that. That's coming down the road. And in addition, they got like maybe 40 cars parking lot. You're talking about the people that would have to work there to operate this is ridiculous. All the delivery vehicles that come in and out, garbage trucks. I dealt with that before when Cardia was there. They don't use a dumpster anymore because when she was living there, okay, 5:30 in the morning, in a residential area. This is going to change the character of the whole neighborhood, all right? I got 60 people that live there, including myself and my neighbor who lives on the other side. The people across the street, everybody that's directly there that's going to be impacted. These aren't people that live in the village or live somewhere else, okay? So the other statement I want to make is you got a campground. You got a bunch of cabins back there. You got a hotel, all right? This is my house. I live there. They don't live there. They have no intentions of living there. I'm the one that's going to have to put up with the noise, okay? So what do people do to go to a campground? They go to have a good time. Are they going to go to bed at 9 o'clock? Or am I going to be dealing with people at midnight? The other night, I don't know who was over there because there's nobody watching the place. Somebody was over there the other night blowing off fireworks. Don't ask me who it was or whatever. So what I'm asking you is, that's a residential area. It's not a commercial operation. That's been a home for 200 and plus years, okay? So the ones that are going to have to deal with it is me. I talked to Todd Eichinger today, and I talked to another realtor from Gordon Trank from Trank Real Estate. They said the impact you're going to have for your property value, and I got just a regular house. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have people backing me. My mother's not backing me to buy things and buy up all kinds of property. I'm just a regular guy, and I'm asking the town board to back us up because the fact the big money developer comes in here and what they're telling you now, this is one step. Next thing you know, you're going to have a big fiasco there. And then when people start getting killed out there, they're going to come to the town. All right? So the other thing I'm trying to say is who is this benefiting? Is this benefiting us? It's benefiting them. And I'm sure she's got a lot of friends there and whatnot. What I'm going to ask you is, anybody that comes to speak tonight, I'd like to know where they live. Are they a direct neighbor? Okay, and I'm gonna leave you at that. I'm gonna leave this letter from my neighbor, also the petition, 60 people. Okay, and as far as the police reports from the accidents out there, which they never put in their traffic report, I don't know where they got it from. I went down to the East Aurora Police and got this. So if you talk to anybody that lives there, I walk up and down that road all the time. It's crazy, all right? It's not a straight road, it's a hill with a curve. And some of my neighbors will contest to you how many accidents been out there. There's people in their front lawns, all right? So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what else to say, but thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
You can just give those to me if you'd like, Joe, and I'll be sure that each board member gets a copy of that.
Thank you. That's the police report.
Okay,
There's the neighbor, my
got it.
letter from my neighbor.
I got it, Joe.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is all the people. Cook Road, Lapham Road, East Main
Thank you,
Street.
Joe.
Everybody that's right there.
Thank you.
They're the ones that got to deal with it. Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board? Please step up.
Tough speaker to follow there. My name is Mark Warren. I live in the village, 107 Center Street. I'm here with my wife, Joy, tonight. Thanks for your attention. And we favor approval of this project. And to address the rhetorical question that was asked by the prior speaker, who does this benefit? I think it stands to benefit the community as a whole. I understand and respect the immediate neighbors have their concerns that have been forcefully stated just now, along with the information that's been shared with the board. But I don't need to tell this board that the responsibility is not the individuals, but the community as a whole. And I think that this project is to the benefit of the community as a whole. Again, with all due respect to the concerns of the neighbors. So let's pan out for just a minute and look at this project in context. I think about what's special in this community where we live, which is the village, of course, where I live, and surrounded by the town. And in the built environment, you know, what is it that makes this community unique and special? It's its historic character, certainly at the top of most lists. And so in the village, it's pretty much totally built out, and there's a fairly well-identified boundary between the village and the town. And so you've got this built-out village with a historic character, but the town also adds to that historic character with properties exactly like this. Properties with pastures, ponds, orchards, what have you. The foremost example, of course, would be Knox Farm. And so I look at this property as a historic resource, and I respectfully submit you should as well. And it's a historic resource that, in my view, is at risk. So we're talking about the historic fabric of the entire community, and this is one of the jewels in the crown. Estate properties ringing the village like this one. So these properties don't take care of themselves. They're expensive to maintain, and there's a term for what's next for properties like this, and I'm sure you've heard it. It's called adaptive reuse, where a project like this, capital is brought to preserve this historic resource that's important to our community. And I submit that it's in the best interest of the community as a whole that this go forward. There's also another human element to this that I want to mention, which is Dan Garvey, who was just up here. Now, many of you know Dan, and Dan grew up in this community. He worked for many, many years at the Roycroft, probably our most important historic resource in this community. And so here's a guy, you know, at a unique intersection here of this project, sensitivity to historic resources, and moreover, lived right next door to it, has been on the property in one of its prior iterations, if you will. So, you know, I feel like here's a living link to the history and somebody who's sensitive to that history. That gives me some confidence. I think it should you as well. So I see an alignment here of the people, the project, to protect an important historic resource for this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll speak.
Yeah. You raise your hand first, you win. No.
I wasn't planning on speaking, but I want to support the neighbors. Dan, my name is Peter Herman. I live at 1280 East Main Street. I have really nothing kind of new to add. I just want to confirm all the things that Dan was saying about the traffic. My yard is one of the yards that's had several cars in front of it in the lawn. I don't let my kids walk on the street as it is now because of the traffic. I mean, just a list of concerns can go on and on from there. My wife, who's ill, was up Friday night, I think it was, with the fireworks that were going off. I didn't know they were coming from that area, but you know, that's a concern. as well. That was just kind of added to the list. A big concern is the slippery slope of things like this. Once you open that door, it can just snowball, and they can turn into a lot more than it was planned. The plan looks great now. It's a small scale as far as that goes, but even that alone is going to cause a disturbance in the neighborhood, and then it's going to go from there. There's no way these projects just are limited to what they are. And I don't want to be hyperbolic, but in a year from now, we'll be sitting here down the street talking about data centers and something else coming to the area as people start to see new things start to come into this area that's supposed to be a neighborhood, not really a developed area. So just a slippery slope is my concern. And I just, once that door is open, you can't close it. You don't get those things back. And that's a big concern for people living in that area. Not what we signed up for, I think, to live in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Jay Chipman. I live at 309 Cook Road. The traffic right now trying to get out on 20A is horrendous. You got traffic trying to get off the 400. They're backed up on the 400 on weekends, mornings, and nights. We don't need more traffic on 20A. It's a blind curve coming into the village, to the town, and there's going to be accidents there. And they say this is only going to be a seasonal thing. What's their rate of return on their investment if it's a seasonal thing? Like this last gentleman said, a slippery slope. Once they get their foot in the door, they would have a little bigger weddings, a little more bigger parties and stuff. Where are all these people going to park? On 20A? On Cook Road? Where's the parking lot going to be? Where's all these people going to park? It's only a seasonal thing. I don't know how they're going to make money being a seasonal thing. A resort. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else?
My name is Taylor Quinn. I also live at 1224 East Main Street with my family. My question is just, at what point does multiple lodging types, an event center, a wellness center exceed what you think is appropriate? To me, I don't understand the argument of how it can be historic. When I look at the site plan, I see like a new driveway. So you're going to destroy the grass, cut down all these trees, make this new driveway that loops around the front of the house. At the last planning board meeting, one of the points that we had was, okay, you're putting this new driveway in that loops in the front of the house, and the direction aims at our house. Not once do they talk about what are they going to do with the natural buffer, none of those things. So if you need more parking, obviously they're not going to park on the road. So what does that mean? They're just going to develop every square inch that they can. I also think it's ironic that they mention, oh, they have other campgrounds. Okay, yeah, maybe you have other campgrounds with maybe hundreds of acres. They can't develop the conservatory, so what's left? Did they say 14 acres? And we already have how many buildings on the land? So things about like water, where's it going to drain? Lighting. You're going to have a campground with no lights. You're going to have cars with no headlights. I just don't understand how you can allow this to be a permitted use. It's a resort. We all have homes. And then does this set precedent? What if we want to have a campground in our backyard? What is the definition? I just think it's also funny. They originally wanted a hotel, but now we say this isn't a hotel. It's just, and it's not a bed and breakfast either. They're not living there. To me, it's just a resort. And I don't understand how that can just be overlooked because they're just going to scale up and they're going to destroy the property. It's not historic. I don't see how cutting down trees is historic, and paving and making more driveways. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello there.
Hi.
I'm Dr. Jennings with Cardea Health. Thank you for having me. I just want to say I really respect everybody's opinions today. My understanding is with the Quinns. They have been neighbors of mine for about 10 years. And as he mentioned, there's never been any issues as far as our parking lots or lighting or noise complaints. I am in support of this project because I think that this property really needs to be honored. Before I purchased it, it sat for 4 years. sadly in disrepair, and it is a very historic Georgian mansion. There's 80 acres of land. There's a protected conservancy that cannot be touched. So I think in terms of privacy and quietness and even traffic studies, I think we can find a way to live in harmony. I really appreciated this gentleman's sentiments in regards to what is East Aurora, what really makes us a historic town. Happy to know that this property is really a little bit closer to Wales, which is great. It's not in a bustling village, and there's a lot of room in order to be respectful with lighting and with noise. In respect to the traffic study, I can say that I've never had a vehicle on my lawn. Is it a little dicey coming down that hill? Yes, it is. Are there traffic concerns at the 400 that need to be addressed with perhaps a light down the road? Yes. But could there be a way to perhaps have an exit down further along the property and have the entry where it was? I think that embracing this property and these gorgeous buildings is really important for this entire community. And I think that there's a way that we can all make it work together with respecting the residents, but also respecting the history of the land, the buildings. If they sit for too long, it just is not doing it justice. So I appreciate all of you for having an open mind tonight. I think it was very clear with the show of hands how most individuals feel. And I think that we could find ways to harmonize the agreement so that everybody is happy. I do have some letters of support as well as Karner from local businesses, as well as some petitions with support.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? No?
Hi, Christopher Welch. I own 20 Glenridge Road. I really didn't plan to say anything, but a couple of points that were brought up that I think the other side of the coin needs to be seen, because we're talking about property values, and I'm a real estate agent. I relocate people to East Aurora all the time. And one of the worst things that happens to property values is that the big giant Georgia mansion sitting next to it continues to deteriorate because no one can afford the upkeep. And I think we made a good point that they paid $2 million for the property, and conservatively, they're going to put a heck of a ton more into it. So how many more buyers do we have out there with those financial resources to upkeep that property? I also looked at FLX tree houses, and the cost to stay at one of those is significant. So the people who have that kind of disposable income are the exact type of people you want coming to East Aurora. Because the same person who's going to spend $600 a night to stay at a treehouse is going to be the same type of person who loves everything they find and head over heels. They're going to be the types of people who think Vidler's is the greatest place on earth and they need to come back. They're going to be the type of people who discover Rick's on Main and love it and want to go there. So I do believe, as much as we ascribe all of the negative stuff, like traffic that we don't know if it's real, issues that we don't know if they're going to be real, expansion that we don't know if it's going to be real, we should also probably look at the other side of the coin and ascribe all of the good that we can assume is also going to be there based on the opposite side of that. I don't think that these are campgrounds where you're staying for $50 a night and anyone can come and throw a big giant party. I think you're going to have the type of people who can afford it, the type of people who help increase the property values in East Aurora because of the money they're spending, and the other things that make this village so special. No one's coming here and not spending that kind of money and then spending money elsewhere. The more of these people that we can get into East Aurora, I think the better, because for the overall community, it's going to have a very positive financial gain in an area that is a very big tourist community. East Aurora is very tourist orientated. The things we do draw in outsiders, but the right outsiders. This property, if it goes forward, is going to draw in financially wealthy people who are going to spend that money in and around our village over and over again, I think. So, and when we talk about, hey, they're just going to keep expanding, none of their plans talk about expansion. None of their projects that they've already put forth in the village went beyond the scope of what they asked for. They tell you what they want so far, they do what they agreed to do, and then they find the next historical property to preserve in East Aurora. This property took 4 years for Cardea to buy. If this doesn't go forward and it sits blank for another 4 years, who comes in and now wants to spend $2+ million to renovate it, or $3+ million to renovate it? I think this is a magnificent use of the property while preserving the conservancy and bringing the right people to East Aurora.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just wanted to clarify a few things.
Just touch on a few.
Yeah. So due to safety concerns on the property and trespassers, we had sent a letter to, I believe you, Liz Cassidy, and the chief of police. We have hired a full-time caretaker who lives on the property and reports daily on anything that would be untoward. So I just want to make sure that we understand the reality of what is actually happening there and not what we think is happening in the woods somewhere. I've also moved myself right down the road, so I am also there as well. As far as traffic goes, you are going to have traffic. You are on 20A. I don't know what a 18-bedroom campground would impact it other than what we've provided from traffic experts and not what we pulled off Google. So I just want to make sure that I am very clear. We went and we got a traffic study done professionally. We then went and got another one done just on the off chance that we had more people there, and there is no adverse impact. I'm sorry that people have had cars in their front yard, but it wasn't me. So,
And we have copies of those
yes, you do.
reports.
Yep.
The town required us to submit one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And we submitted it. I'm sorry.
I do also want to address, where are people going to park? We did give a complete parking plan. We also did show where our drainage is going to be. We showed the amount of trees that we are not removing and the brush and where we are trying to locate everything to make sure that we have preserved the natural character. We brought everybody in, we've got engineers to make sure that we're not just going to drown everybody out. We have also put a fence up now on our plan. It has to go through Liz first and Rich, but we do have the fence at the max allowed height, just on the off chance that somebody's car could shine lights into our neighbors. SHPO approved this. So again, the professionals who do this for a living, when they talk about historic preservation, have determined that this is historic preservation and what we are doing will restore and repurpose this. So whether someone feels that it is or not, the people who are paid to do this say, it is, we should do this. And so we've tried very hard to make sure that everything we're doing is historically accurate. This is not our first time doing this. We're on our third project with SHPO approval, tax credit approval, grant approval. So this is not our first rodeo. We do this professionally. As far as, is this a campground? We went through a 4-month process to determine with Liz Cassidy and the attorney that this is a campground, and that accessory uses to this campground include Cardea Health and a gathering lodge. So that's moot. It's been determined, it's gone past the 30-day of challenge, and I just want to be very clear. The professionals, again, I'm just going to keep saying it, the professionals have determined that we have done everything we need to do to make sure that we are compliant. Anything to add?
I'll be real quick. I mean, a couple of the people who are opposed to it were talking about you shouldn't allow this use. That's not what we're here about. We're not asking you to allow this use. Your zoning code allows this use. The use is allowed just like a residential use is allowed, just like a farm is allowed in that zoning district. So we're not asking you to allow the use. Your code allows the use. We're asking you to look at the special use permit and the site plan approval, and that's very important. In terms of Mr. Quinn sort of just said, we're just going to do whatever we want. The other gentleman was kind of eloquently said, it's a slippery slope. I get that whole slippery slope argument, but it doesn't work in zoning. It'd be great if it did, because we could just start right now. I mean, what they're basically saying is we get this little permit and then we can just do whatever we want. And that's not how it works. It's never how it works. It's just that simple. So that's not going to happen, and it's not the history here. And the other thing about having these huge weddings, hundreds of people, we intentionally reduced the size of that building and made it open air for a reason. And the reason was to address that issue. They own, Karner Development owns a wedding venue, the Bank of EA, right up the street here. So, I'm probably pointing in the wrong direction, aren't I? But they own one right up the street. So we already have a wedding venue. This is sort of a complementary use to that, if you will. People could stay here, have the wedding over there. It makes sense. It's in the spirit of things with the town. In terms of, not to get technical, I did represent Mr. Sosha, and I know his wife owns the property, not him. I'd like to see all those petitions, because when people put petitions, and I know we just submitted some, I don't know what they say. People hardly ever read those things. I'd be very curious to see what they say, whoever signed the petition. So,
Got a copy for you.
I don't, is that allowed?
Stop right there. That's enough.
And just a couple of things, the realtor, the people, he's saying that, a realtor has already told me my property values are gonna go down. I don't believe that for a second, but here, what Rachel's saying about the professionals, tell that realtor to put it in writing, put his license, which is his business, his livelihood on the line. It's one thing to say something or to say somebody said something, have him put it in writing. We have a traffic engineer licensed by the state of New York, put their assessment in writing after we're required to get one for the town. The traffic engineer told us it's the smallest project they've ever had to do a traffic study for. Like when he said, "Are you kidding me? You need this?" I'm like, the town wants this, they're requiring it. And I'm not blaming the town. I'm just saying, in the scope of traffic studies, this wasn't even on the radar. I'm sure there's a couple other things, but
That's, the only other thing is that we also gathered our petitions. We can resubmit them if you would like. We also met with quite a few neighbors, direct neighbors, and got their signatures. So I think it is important to know that people feel both ways. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. But we did do our best level effort to reach out to the neighbors in the community to make sure that any questions and concerns were answered. That's why we made adjustments to this plan, and why we continue to, when there's pushback or a legitimate problem, make changes. We're able
like
to do that
reducing the
and helping
building.
that. That's
Just
all.
real
Thank
real
you.
quick though, I did want to point out, they did say it was seasonal. When I said seasonal, I said a portion of this is seasonal, not the entire thing. So I never said it was a completely seasonal business. That's putting words in my mouth. But we will submit any further information you need. Okay. And we appreciate it. We'd ask to
Thank
close the
you.
hearing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from anyone with something new? Something new, sir. Okay? 3 minutes, Joe. Okay. The only thing I want to ask you is... Step up to the mic, please. I know you said this isn't a question and answer. And it's not. I'm just a regular guy. I don't have an attorney, okay? I don't understand a lot of this town stuff. My question is, as far as special use permit, 11644, as far as standards go, I'm sure you're all familiar with that. And according to what it says, that it has to meet each and every one of these. And as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of questions here, okay? As far as, how it impacts people. That was the question I had. Okay. And the other question that they never addressed is, when you got people of that amount of people there, and you got a hotel, what are they going to eat? What are they going to drink? Nobody ever touched that. So let's full disclosure, they got a hospitality manager, he runs banquets, so we never touch that. So let's be complete and tell us everything that they're going to do. Nobody goes to a hotel, they stay overnight, and what are you going to do? Give them a glass of water and say, okay, that's a whole nother animal. Because of the fact you're going to have dumpsters, you're going to have food in those dumpsters, it's all right there, okay? A back borders up against the woods. So what's going to happen, it's basically going to be a call for stuff to come in there and go after those dumpsters. Yeah.
The other thing is, the math doesn't do the math. You know, the realtor's telling us that it helps all these people in the village and it helps all these bars and restaurants. That's great. We're just regular people. We have a house. We didn't sign up for this. This all got brought on us. She says, oh, she went around to the neighbors. Never spoke to the woman in my life. She called Dave up, telling him one thing, and as far as Mr. Sorgi goes...
1 minute, Joe.
You know, okay?
1 minute.
As far as that property goes, Dave and Michelle are married. The sheet is signed by both of them. He'll be here in a week or two, and I'd like to bring him down here for the next meeting, and he can speak to you.
Okay.
On that, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We just clarify, there's no bar, no restaurant, and the rest of it was nonsense.
Anyone else? Step up to the mic, please.
Hi there. Full disclosure, I'm Dan Garvey's brother, Dennis Garvey. I live down the road from this, and the last time I was here, I think it was for a planning board on the Twin Elms project. It wasn't the same project then, and I spoke against it because of the traffic, and that's a legitimate concern. That's a bad corner. It's a blind corner. But when I look at this, I don't see the traffic increase that I would have seen before. And a few weeks ago, I had a chance to go into the building. I lived next door to it when I was a kid growing up. And so I used to go over there when you're 7, 8, 10 years old. And I hadn't been there probably in 20 or 25 years. And when I went in, I was really shocked. The building's hurting, and it's a spectacular house. But to look at the gutters falling down and the slate coming off the roof and the fascia rotting, it needs help. Otherwise, you're going to lose it, and you'll never, never replace it. And that's where my concern is now. After having gone through it, I look at that and I go, you know, if this thing goes down, and that's what'll happen, it's gone. You will never, ever, ever get the likes of that again. There's a spiral staircase and spectacular grounds. It's just a beautiful place. In my heart of hearts, if Josh Allen was to come in and say, I'm going to put $5 million down and rebuild it, I'd go, great. But that's not going to happen. And so what you need is to be able to preserve this thing somehow. And if you don't, it's gone. And I don't want that next door to me either. So it's a serious thing to think about. But if something isn't done, kiss goodbye. And when it's gone, like I said, you are never going to see it again. It's really a great place. When you go through it, it was fun to go through it. You know, like I said, when I go over when I was a kid, you see it and you don't appreciate really how incredible the inside of it is. And then when you go back later, and years and years and years later, and you go through, it's remarkable. It's beautiful, and it is hurting. So that's all. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Appreciate it. Step up.
Hello, everyone. My name's Andrew Harris, recently a 670 Main Street, East Aurora. I am the general contractor that's helping out on this project. I come from a historic background in Washington, D.C. for about 8 years. As Dan was just saying, I'm kind of tearing up to it, watching this building fall apart for the last 2 years as I've watched it, because of the lack of SHPO, the lack of ability to get this done. The roof alone for maintenance is $200,000 just in maintenance. To get this project back up on its feet needs a lot, and it's hurting really badly, and it's sad to watch it deteriorate. It's got so much historic significance to this town, and to watch it fall apart, no one will pick it back up if it does not get fixed this year. It needs a roof before this fall. It has to have it, or this building will be gone.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, we have two letters that I will now read. The first one is from Julie Tyrone. She lives on Victoria Heights right here in East Aurora. I am fully supportive of this initiative proposed by Karner Development Group. I believe this thoughtfully designed concept presents an exciting opportunity to create a truly unique wellness destination that reflects the character, beauty, and welcoming spirit of our community. A retreat of this nature would provide visitors with an experience unlike any other, while highlighting the qualities that make East Aurora such a special place. I also believe this project has the potential to bring new visitors to our area, which would provide meaningful support to our local businesses. Many of our small businesses depend on tourism and community engagement to thrive, and creating a new destination within East Aurora could have a positive ripple effect throughout the entire community. I respectfully ask the town board to consider the many benefits of this wellness retreat could bring, not only as a unique destination, but as an investment in the future of the vitality of East Aurora and its small businesses. Thank you for your time and your service to the community. Your consideration is important to our opportunity, to this opportunity. Sincerely, Julie Tyrone. And I have another one from Victoria Sturman from the Chamber of Commerce. Dear Town Board members, on behalf of the Greater East Aurora Chamber of Commerce and its Board of Directors, I am writing to express our support of the special use permit application for the proposed wellness campground at 1196 Big Tree Road in the town of Aurora. The Chamber's mission is to support business development, promote tourism, and advocate for initiatives that strengthen the economic vitality and quality of life throughout our region. We believe this project aligns strongly with those objectives and represents a thoughtful and sustainable future for this historic property. We commend our member, Karner Development, for its commitment to preserving and restoring this unique site while identifying a use that is both economically viable and respectful of the property's character and surroundings. Rather than allowing a historic site property to deteriorate, this proposed offers an opportunity to repurpose it in a way that protects its legacy while creating new opportunities for residents, visitors, and local businesses. The proposed wellness campground would add a unique tourism asset to our region. Wellness tourism continues to grow in popularity, and this project has the potential to attract visitors who will not only utilize the campground and its amenities, but also support local restaurants, retailers, attractions, and other businesses throughout the town of Aurora and surrounding communities. We also support the continued presence of Cardia Health, a chamber member that is currently operating on the property. The opportunity for Cardia Health to expand its wellness offerings through retreats and wellness-focused programs creates a natural partnership that strengthens the overall vision for the site while supporting an existing local business. In addition to its tourism benefits, the project has the potential to create jobs, generate economic activity, and further establish our region as a destination for health, wellness, recreation, and hospitality. This directly supports the Chamber's efforts to foster economic growth and create a vibrant, sustainable future for our community. The Town Planning Board has reviewed the proposed and unanimously approved it for the referral to the Town Board based on the project's economic benefits, preservation goals, tourism potential, and Greater East Aurora Chamber of Commerce respectfully asks that the Town Board approve the special use permit. Thank you for your consideration and continued dedication to responsible growth and development within the town of Aurora. And with that, unless anyone has,
Chuck?
I think we're done, Joe.
Could you please read that one also, from my neighbor?
No, I don't read anything. If you look in our policy, requests to be read during public hearings has to be in to me as the supervisor by noon.
Okay.
I won't read the other ones either, Joe, if it's any.
Well, I didn't know that. This came out on Friday night. We got kind of blindsided.
That's good. And before I close this, I understand that these displays are on our website. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, if anybody goes to the Town of Aurora website, they're right on the front page. So you can see any of the things posted here, all the documents that have been submitted to the town in regards to this project.
Okay, and with that, I will close this public hearing at 7:24. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
You have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Next on the agenda.
For a second.
You're
hilarious.
We know not.
Not today. No, we never do. Hey, Jeff.
It's gonna be a long.
All right. Oh. That was a bad guy. You're as proud as he was?
Sometimes situations like this.
Could you please make your way out so we can continue our meeting?
Maybe on the speaker, Chuck. If everybody could please, if you're not going to stay for the meeting, could you have your conversations outside so we can keep going?
All right. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the June 8th, 2026 Town Board meeting and the June 16th, 2026 work session,
Jumping the gun.
along with the abstract of claims for June 22nd, 2026?
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Paul, could you? Motion by Joe, can I have a second? Second by Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Audience one, an opportunity to address the board on anything on this agenda. If anyone would like to, please step up to the mic, give us your name and address. Seeing no one. Under unfinished business, first is some payments to Azar. Can I have a motion to approve the following payments to Azar Design? All are from April 25th, 2026 to May 29th, 2026. Payment number 13 in the amount of $17,957.37 for professional services for the Shear Avenue culvert. Payment number 15 in the amount of $15,000 and $15,708.46 for the services rendered for the Cornwall Road culvert replacement, and payment number 12 in the amount of $23,149.44 for the services rendered for the Brookley Drive bridge replacement.
So moved.
Motion by Jess. Can I have a second?
I will second that.
Second by Ray. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Funds will be dispersed from line H75120.210. Motion approved. Motion carried. Next is a budget amendment. Can I have a motion to approve amending the budget to record the payment to be charged to the ZM Master Water improvement instead of the ZP Private Water system? This is in regards to Azar Design's program that they gave to us last meeting. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ben, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under new business, I'd like to have an executive session tonight on top of everything else, but it'll be a quick one. Can I have a motion to add an executive session regarding a personnel matter with no action taken?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, under new business, can I have a motion to approve hiring Adam Myers as a seasonal laborer for highway and parks at a pay rate of $18 an hour and starting June 29th, 2026?
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ben, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to approve hiring the following people as seasonal lifeguards? All will be starting at $17.25 and starting on their first day of completion of new hire orientation. Sophia Franklin from 2152 Davis Road, Clementine McDonald from 211 Maple Road, Emery Mruzik from 218 Olean Street, Andrew Patterson from 280 Greenwood Court, Vivian Sultana from 240 Geneva, and Oscar Dorflin from 1484 Blakely.
So moved.
Motion by Jess, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is another request from Chris. Can I have a motion to hire Matthew Conyers, residing at 62 South Grove, as a substitute van driver, regular part-time, RPT. Matthew's pay rate will be $18.51 an hour, and the start date will be upon completing his new hire orientation. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ben, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to approve the following budget amendment? Increase line A00-2050-0000-0000 in the amount of $490, and also increase line A00-7185-0400-000 in the amount of $490.
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? This is due to increased revenue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to approve paying Gregory Wilbur 25 cents an hour for the 16 hours, a total of $4, for the back pay he should have received as head guard this season?
So moved.
Motion Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ben. Comments or discussion?
This is going to break us.
I know it, I know. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the commitment letter with the county regarding the plate to field project?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion?
No, I think this is a really good move forward. We had a open forum a couple weeks ago. I think that it's going to provide an awful lot of opportunity for people to get more involved in their community with composting, and at the same time, we just got an email from Nest that suggests that perhaps we can also add to our Climate Smart initiative by getting grant money and reducing food waste in landfills, and that's one of the primary positives coming out of community composting. So looking forward to this going forward.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the document requesting the New York State Public Service Commission to investigate noise emanating from two national fuel infrastructures, both one at 122A Grover Road and the other one at the corner of Jewett Homewood and Grover Road? I have that motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ben, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion?
Is that the proper course of action? I thought we all signed it. Is it just the supervisor does the trick?
We can all sign if you want. I did have that discussion this morning with Sater, actually, and I said, well, I'm signing it as the town.
Then I think that's
But,
fine.
if-
I just want to clear that
If
up.
all of us want to sign it, I have no problem with that either.
No, as long as it gets the job done, that's all I'm worried about.
Agreed.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is an expired building permit. Can I have a motion to refer the violation at 2315 Lapham Road to our town attorney for justice court action?
So moved.
Motion by Jess, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a request from Kathleen. Can I have a motion to approve to amend the budget to record the increase in CHIPS funding as follows? Increase revenue line DB 3501, state aid CHIPS, by $9,558, and increase appropriation line DB 5112.433, permanent improvements, by $9,558.
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ben. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a request from Kathleen. Can I have a motion to approve amending the budget to record the second and final comprehensive plan grant payment from the county as follows? Increase revenue line B 2706, grants from local governments, by $10,143.43, and increase appropriation line B 8097.400, comprehensive plan, by $10,143.43. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And can I have a motion to accept the donation of $200 from the Lions Club of East Aurora, asking that these funds be deposited in line TA 1000.0090 and to be used towards the purchase of a new desk in the office?
So moved.
Motion by Ben, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And lastly, can I have a motion to move into executive session after staff reports to discuss a personnel matter with no action being taken?
So moved.
Motion by Ben, can I have a second? Oh, we don't need a motion.
Yeah, we don't need, that's
There you go.
confused. We already voted it, yeah.
Yeah. All right, communications and reports. These are all from May of 2026. I have the town clerk's report, town clerk's tax report, town clerk's water report, supervisor's report, building department reports, senior center report, and the East Aurora Police Department report. Business from board members. And we'll start with Deputy Supervisor McCann.
Thank you, Supervisor Snyder. I was going to report out on a conference I attended in Utica, put on by the DEC. It was for environmental initiatives that they were promoting throughout the state. I didn't realize when I signed up for it, but it was extraordinarily geared towards climate smart community, which was good, but it was the first one they've had. If funding stays, they'll have another one. The highlight for me was we got to tour the Oneida Herkimer solid waste processing plant, where they collect food scraps feed them into their anaerobic digester at the neighboring wastewater treatment plant, and generate enough methane to run generators that power the plant 50% of the power. So it's really an incredible system. The generators are problematic, but the anaerobic digester functions perfectly because it's basically just a giant stomach sitting on the plant. But it's amazing what they do, and they take in, I forget, the numbers are staggering, how much food they take in, and it's hungry for more. They would like to power the plant entirely with food waste if they can get enough people to drop it off. But they collect expired fruit. There's a lot of yogurt plants down there. They do meat, they do bone, they do everything. It all just turns into methane gas, and then it's burned for energy and is therefore no longer toxic to the environment. So it is a wins right down the road. This is much larger than anything a municipality could do, but to see what folks are doing out there to tackle our problems is really inspirational. And these aren't, this isn't Woodstock or something. These are folks that are looking to save money and figure out a way to do their job better, and it's hitting it out of the park.
This process, Joe, has been around for some time. I had a good friend of mine who was deep into this almost 20 years ago, and it's good to hear that it's kept going on and on. It sounds like it's getting better and better and better as it goes.
Yeah, and the place was lousy with employees. It creates jobs, it does the job. They're also selling compost as well through a different process that they're doing. And they also do curbside drop-off on paints and air conditioners and all this stuff. It's an authority. They had to create an authority to make this work, but it's an all-comprehensive plan. And this is Oneida and Herkimer counties. You know what I mean? It's not San Diego getting this done. So it really was fantastic. And we also took a tour of the Saranac Brewery, which was my second favorite part.
Oh, I was going to say, what was your favorite?
And I will say this, if you have the opportunity, A, it's great, and B, do not make a Willy Wonka joke. You will not be the first one to make that joke, and the tour guide will embarrass you. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Well, I can second that tour is fantastic. It's a great tour. Had a busy week. We had Scoot Around June has now surpassed 1,000 miles traveled this month. So we've logged quite a few miles there. Still a few days left, so we're hoping to bolster that up a little bit more, and we'll have some of the data to support all the savings that's generated. Last week, Climate Smart Task Force met. We brought in UBRI, and we set a pathway out to try to aim for that Silver Star status. So we've developed have a couple of pathway options that we're sifting through right now, but the overall goal is to try to push for May of 2027 to be able to submit to gain that status. Also, the NRI is underway, so we're currently working on developing the natural resource inventory. Later this week, we're going to be holding a public workshop. That's going to be Thursday for those that are interested in learning more about what we're working on, and any community members that are looking to offer their services and help out and get involved. So that'll be this Thursday.
Ben, Jess?
I don't want to steal all of Ray's thunder, but we had a super exciting sewer district meeting tonight. We saw the.
He stole mine that I was going to say. You can steal the other, and I'll just sit here and watch.
I'll give you the second half. You can do any updates.
That's all right.
Because I had to leave. I was only able to stay for the first 30 minutes of the meeting, unfortunately. So Ray can pick up the other bits. It is. Thank you, Mr. McCann, for your enthusiasm. It's really fascinating stuff, and so important, civilization and all. We did review the budget for the coming year. It was a very detailed, well-organized budget presentation. It is really cool to see how it works. We are Sewer District 8, and we're partnered with Sewer District 3, which is the largest. And then together, that gives us the cost sharing. So in this whole massive budget, we're basically responsible for 9%. That seems like a pretty good bargain. And further to that bargain, they're going to manage all of the expenses, including all of the increasing costs we're all seeing everywhere, and manage to increase the charges for sewer services for our community to about $17 a year per household impacted. So good job, them.
Okay.
And actually, as soon as you left, we were done pretty much with the meeting. So there was really an awful lot left. Aside from the fact that I do appreciate the detail that they go through in the budget, and the willingness to talk through and explain each detail. So, Joe Fiegel, who's the, I think, deputy director in charge of the sewer districts, goes out of his way to ensure the fact that we're well informed about what's going on with that. And really, the only controversy was the fact that none of us got our packets in time for the meeting.
That was very dramatic.
So I just discovered, I was on vacation last week, and I came in to sign, and there they were. So, you know, there's, the big controversy is the mail
The
delivery.
U.S. Postal Service.
Exactly. We need to investigate that. But other than that, I was going to mention the open space meeting and the NRI. Rennie, would you like to offer anything? Because you're going to be basically leading the charge when it comes to that. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but Rennie Selkirk, he is taking the lead when it comes to the NRI, which is important towards climate smart status and gaining additional points. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah. Not much.
But it is an open forum, so
Yeah.
people can attend on Thursday.
By the way, I live at 561 South Street. No, Ray is, and Ben now are the board members on the Open Space Committee and, excuse me.
Climate Smart,
on
Open Space.
Yeah, we've mixed the Climate Smart Task Force and the Open Space together, and we've got a great core group of folks, and myself, Ben, two other members of Climate Smart, Claudia Newton, and Sharon Bachman, and we're putting together an in-house NRI, and we're hoping that at this meeting on Thursday that we can bring together people with some other ideas and maybe some experts from UBRI hopefully will show up, and we may end up collaborating with them. So that's the good news, but we'll hear more about that on Thursday. So, but hopefully we'll come out at the end of it with a lot of good advice, and so I encourage you all to drop by.
Well, one of the things I do want to say is the project really had stalled, and we thought we'd have to go outside for help, but Rennie taking the lead and charging forward and gathering people and reaching out, you know, to Climate Smart, I think is really instrumental in us moving this forward. So,
Yeah,
thanks.
I'm very thankful to Ben for stepping forward and the other folks from the Climate Smart. So we've also had a lot of help from people like Deb Fenn, who can jump in and get us connected with folks. So I'll tell you more about it on Thursday.
Thanks, Rennie.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
And that's it. I'm done.
I'd like to mention that, I want to invite everyone to our July 3rd parade. We are having, I believe we are up to 6 marching bands. Megan and Chris have a great event planned for everybody, so invite everyone to that. And then on the 4th of July, the following day, there will be a short ceremony here in the parking lot at Town Hall, just to celebrate the actual day that, this is the day that the signing took place, and you know, certainly hope everyone can come and join us for that. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning here. Again, it's just a short ceremony, but.
Not a reenactment.
Yeah, no, not a reenact.
Okay.
And then lastly, I want to just mention that on Saturday, we had, you know, a competition, and, you know, with a cornhole competition between the village and the town. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of our team there. I mean, we were spanking them. We were really doing great. We were really doing great. It was 19-18. We, you know, victory was within our grasp. And a certain person who, I don't think he scored more than 1 point in the whole time before that.
Yep, it is true.
Just, you know, that horseshoe never falls far from him. He threw that beanbag there, and it was a swoosh right through. And we were this close, but I'm proud of everybody on our team for all of your hard work and training that went into this and everything. Next year.
And we had a good strategy going in.
We
too.
did,
really
we
worked
did.
hard.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, at the end of the day, we lost 21-19.
I think it is worth noting, we had 100% participation.
Yes, we
on
did.
the board.
Yes.
This is-
They can't say that.
that's
That
a
they.
good thing.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't bring in, we didn't bring in
Yeah.
ringers.
We
We,
were-
wingers.
Yeah, we didn't have any wingers, we all have centers, but the best way to train for cornhole is doing those 12-ounce curls. And when you're ready for them, the 16-ounce curls.
Practice is next week, guys.
All right.
We gotta start practicing.
Next is audience two, an opportunity to address the board on any issues if you'd like to step up and issue. And we'll move on to staff reports, and we'll start with Assistant Code Enforcement Officer, Rich Miga.
I don't have anything to offer tonight, thank you, though.
Okay. Doug Crow,
Nothing, thank you.
Paul Ernst,
Thank you.
Rod Simeone.
No way.
Okay. And we'll give you a few minutes to leave, and then we'll enter into executive session.
Yeah, we gotta get our notes down on our reporting.